we heard the first reading from the prophet Zephaniah. Now, Zephaniah prophesied around the year 625 BC. It was a time not unlike our own age, where there was a lot of political turmoil going on. The superpowers in that region, the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and the Egyptians, were fighting amongst themselves, and poor little Israel and Judah were caught in the middle of all this. And the people in Judah were suffering. And besides that, they started to quit observing their faith. They gave up the practices that they had historically done, they had traditionally done. They had turned away, if you will, from following God's law. And so Israel then, as a consequence of that, suffered under the pressure from these various powers. In Zephaniah, after a long call to conversion, a change of heart, a change of mind, a change of attitude, a change of one's actions, the prophet speaks words of hope and promise. And what wonderful words of comfort. Let me remind you what we heard today. The Lord your God is in your midst. He will rejoice over you with gladness and renew you in his love. He will sing joyfully because of you, as one sings at festivals. Surely then we can rejoice, because we're rooted in not some hollow feeling or promise of optimism, but because God really is rooted in our midst here in this church at St. Anne's. Paul reinforces that in that second reading, doesn't he? As he writes to his beloved Philippians, a very upbeat letter. He himself is in prison. And almost every other word says, rejoice, be joyful, be happy. The Lord is near. We can rejoice always, because the Lord is indeed near to each one of us. In the gospel for this third Sunday of Advent, the great figure of John the Baptist continues to appear. And people come to him asking him questions. What can we do to prepare for the coming of this Messiah that we're waiting for, that we're longing for, that we expect to come any time now? What do we do? And John's response starts out with what we've come to call the corporal works of mercy. Now, those of you who get Faith magazine will know that I've been one of the contributing writers to it for the last 13 months. This past issue was my last article. But anyway, that had to come to an end at some point on Advent. But they made me talk each week, or each issue, about the various corporal and spiritual works of mercy. So if you want to, and you still have those magazines, drag them out. I'm the last article on the last page, the guy with the funny Albuquerque hat on, and that's me. Okay? John says to them, let the person with 2 coats give to the person who has none. The person who has food should do the same. It's the mission of the St. Vincent de Paul Society, isn't it? That kind of a thing, the corporal works of mercy. In other words, show mercy to those in need without any conditions to it. Still others asked John what they should do. John's response was that they should not take advantage of others, treat others honestly and with respect, be satisfied with what they are given. You see, mercy is a component of all those actions. It's a component that's underneath and supports the corporal works of mercy. And it's something that allows us to view others as equals, of not looking down upon them, of seeing them in an equal and without judgment in our hearts. So this Advent is the perfect time for every parish to establish its own holy door. And on December 8th, actually the night of December 7th over in the big church, and the morning 6:15 Mass, December the 8th in this church, I did that. And we have holy doors at the entrance to both churches. I asked my parish staff to develop something we could put in the actual door that you could see it. And I don't know if you noticed it or not. When we planned this, we made a big mistake. We forgot that during Advent, the Christmas wreaths would be up. And right where we wanted to put the sign was where the Christmas wreaths are. So we had to put it either above it or below it. So maybe you didn't really see it when you go in. But when you go back out, look at it. They developed a poster type thing that shows Jesus, although his head's kind of cut off, but you know who it is. And he's got his hand out, and he says something like, "You want mercy? Come in here. This is where you enter for mercy." And so we have these doors and the ones in the main church that I blessed, as well as blessing the people at those masses to start this holy year. And so we have our own holy doors. It's just not St. Peter's in the Vatican or the cathedral in Midtown. We have our own holy doors too. Thank you very much. Okay. And it's an urging for you too in your homes. Maybe you have a door that you want to make a holy door too. And you have holy water. You can sprinkle the door. You can sprinkle each other's. It's a sacramental. And you can create that holy door for you, so that every time you enter that door, you become uniquely aware of God's mercy in your life and how you need to share that mercy with others. And here we have an extra benefit because we have the Divine Mercy Shrine right here all the time. And Jay has created this great banner over here, which I hope you can go up and see sometime when you come up to the shrine, reminding us of Luke 6:36. Be merciful, be compassionate, as the Father is merciful, is compassionate. You see, if we're able to do that, then we can, along with the prophet Zephaniah, shout for joy and exalt with all our heart.